Hi there, I'm Sam Winter, Inside Sales Manager here at CloudM, and thank you for joining our bite-sized webinar series all around cloud thinking. Here, we're going to be talking around the importance of role-based access in the digital workplace. So, to start, we'll talk about the agenda, what we're going to be talking about today. So first off, we're going to start with some introductions. I've got my colleague Ryan Knox on the call, who'll do a nice little introduction shortly. We're also going to walk through the actual roles and how we can actually set this role-based access up. Then we'll talk about the benefits. And lastly, we will open up for any questions should anybody have any. Thank you. So, as I said, I'm Sam Winter, the Inside Sales Manager here at CloudM. And I've got my colleague Ryan. Ryan, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, thanks for that, Sam. Hi, everybody. My name's Ryan Noakes. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at CloudM. Been with the business about 12 months, and I work with the CloudM Manage tool day in, day out. So you're in good hands.
Thank you very much, Ryan. So to start, we're just going to talk about what role-based access actually is, right? So you look at a lot of third-party softwares. What you usually find is the RT manager gets dumped with everything, right? So you have your RT manager who has access to everything, and people literally just go and say, "Oh, can you change this for me in a specific way?" and so on and so on. So what we've actually integrated with CloudM is a feature called role-based access. So you look at the tool itself for CloudM Manage, and we like to promote it as, let's say, a Swiss Army knife. It does lots and lots of little different things, right? But not all of those things always ultimately come under the RT manager. So you look at email signatures, for an example. Usually that's something that would reside within your marketing team, right? They'd create the email signatures and push it out to, push it out to the staff. However, there's also little things such as user lifecycle management. Obviously, the user lifecycle is usually with the HR team, right? But because a lot of these things are always focused towards RT, it always usually ends up getting dumped with the RT manager, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to showcase how we can lower your workload and give right access to the right people so they can do things themselves. Thank you. So first up, we're going to be talking about Ashley. So what we're doing here is we're going to talk about 3 individuals within the business who need completely different levels of access because of their department, because of their role. So as you can see here, Ashley is an admin assistant. So what we want to get out of Ashley's role here is Ashley only needs access to organizational and user profiles. Ashley doesn't need to make any changes. It only needs to be able to view information within user profiles. So you look at the features here. Look, we need to view information shown in organizational units, the smart teams and user profiles. As well as that, doesn't need to be able to edit any profiles or carry out any actions, and is currently unable to view and edit admin and system settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to Ryan very shortly, and what Ryan's going to show you is how we'd set this up in the CloudM environment. So give me 1 second and I will just share my screen with Ryan. Are you good to go, mate?
Yeah.
There you go, that should be with you now.
So we've got Ashley. Okay, he's our admin assistant. As we said, we need basic permissions. So first you go settings and roles, and as you can see, we've already kind of created one here. Now you can create a brand new role from scratch, which we'll go through in some of the other scenarios. But here you can see that on the right hand side, the ones that are assigned are just the view, because we discussed that he doesn't need any of these that are on the left hand side, like delete or manage or anything like that. So here we've got just the information that he needs access to be able to see rather than influence. Now to assign this, we just go to role assignment, we pick the profile, and we know that this is Ashley, so we can simply add that. And that's as simple as that. Now we go on to the next scenario.
So thank you very much for that, Ryan. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to our next chosen colleague. And this is Connor. So Connor, as we've already mentioned previously, currently a marketing executive. So what do we want to get out of Connor's role? So Connor needs to be able to create and deploy email signatures across the business. I know that we've briefly touched on this, but again, email signatures are something that have predominantly been given access to the RT guys. But again, when you think about it in general as a rule, the actual email signature is generally going to be created by the marketing team, right? And then it just creates another workflow for your IT managers to actually implement that for people. Why can't we just give these guys access to, to do this themselves and take that workload off IT? So what we're going to do with this second role, we're going to be able to create and edit and delete email signature templates. We're going to be able to assign email signature templates to organizational units or smart teams. As well as that, we're going to be able to add variables to email signature templates that will be auto-populated with information from the profile of a specific user or group. So that basically means we're going to be able to then set specific email signatures across specific departments, whether it's an organizational unit or whether it's a smart team that we've set up via CloudM. So again, here I'm going to pass over to Ryan, and Ryan's going to show you how we do this within the tool itself. Thank you.
So with Connor, the marketing executive, this role is slightly different to the one that we've just gone through. So if I go back into roles, you can see that before I show you the one that we've created earlier, that we actually have a number of templates. And one of those templates is Signature Manager. So we've already thought about the standard permissions that someone within that team would need. And I'll put a couple together for you now. Now you can see here on the left-hand side, there's a predefined information and the predefined tags. But actually the big one that we need, of course, is edit email signatures. And now you have to be careful when creating these roles because there's different layers and there's different levels. You're going to have the general editing of the tool or editing of the feature and then the permissions within. Now again, with this, we simply go to role assignment. Of course, you need to save the role. And then this time we're going to pick a profile. We know it's Connor, but actually if I wanted to add multiple people within that team, so Sam's discussed about the levels of IT management. So within the marketing team, actually you've got 3 or 4, let's say, marketing executives. So what you can do is you can do group, and if they've got a group email like there, you can actually assign it to everyone. Now what that means is everybody that adds to that group of marketing instantly gets the CloudM role. Back over to you, Sam.
Thanks, Ryan. So yeah, thank you for that, Ryan. And I'm just going to move on to our third and final user role. So this is the lovely Hannah. So as you can see, Hannah is our HR manager, and the ultimate goal here is to onboard and offboard users. Now, again, I know I briefly touched earlier on in the webinar around the fact that HR usually need access to user lifecycle management. And again, this is just bridging that gap between IT and HR. Because look, I come across this so many times that there's actual IT managers who are managing the onboarding and offboarding of specific users, but all they're really doing is doing what the HR team have asked them to do, right? And what we're doing here is giving them the ability to do this themselves. And again, it bridges that gap between IT and HR. So we'll look at the specific features that we need as part of Hannah's role-based access. So you can see here, Hannah needs to be able to create, edit, and offboard users. Also, she needs to be able to move users between organizational units and smart teams. As well as that, she also needs to be able to assign documents and calendars to organizational units or smart teams. And this is giving automatic access from day one. So look, we see that this is a bit of a challenge right now for a lot of companies. We're all working remotely, right? Nobody's currently in the office. You can't just literally get up off your seat and go and speak to a colleague for assistance. You've got to do a phone call, a video conference, and these things take a lot of time, right? So we are finding that it's taking a lot of time to get people onboarded from the day that they start. As well as that, we're going to be able to create and update onboarding and offboarding workflows for the root organization, but not just for the root organization. We can set that for specific org units or smart teams as well. So what I'm going to do here, once again, I'm going to pass over to Ryan, and Ryan's going to be able to showcase how we'd set this role-based access up in the tool.
Thanks, Sam. So with Hannah, it's quite a complex role with this. So if we go back into roles, you can see that we've created one around HR. You could call it onboarding and offboarding. You could call it user creation and deletion. Now, unlike the others, you can see that there's a number of ones that we've already assigned, and you can see why I've done this already. But there's a couple of key ones that we need to add. And as you go down through the list, just have a think about exactly what it would be that that person is going to need. Now, one of the really big ones, of course, is manage users, because you can't do any of the other stuff without that original permission. Doesn't matter what level you're at. And of course, we then need the offboard. But have a read of the list, have a read of the individual items and think, is this something within a profile? Is this something within a workflow? And you can save that. Now, at any time you can edit these, and you've got that freedom and that flexibility to actually not only build the role once, but as the role evolves and as time evolves and as things change, you can change it. So first of all, I'm just going to show you the role assignment again for the profile, and we'll get this to Hannah. But then there's another thing as well. It's not just through this. Okay, if you've got a brand new person, okay, or you've added a person, if you go to Hannah's profile, and it shows a profile on the right hand side, you go to actions and you go to manage roles, and you can actually see at any point what her roles are assigned, and you can assign her brand new ones. And that's the HR manager kind of in its entirety. Over to you, Sam.
And again, Ryan, thank you very much for showcasing that. Now, just to wrap up on these three roles that we've actually set up, I just want to talk about the benefits, right? So what have we done differently, and how is this benefiting, not just the company, but specifically the IT manager as well, right? So what happens here is the roles allow you to group a set of permissions together that will provide users with all the tools they need. This means that all of your staff complete the to-do lists without any delays. They've got access to what they need, right? So they're not relying on any specific user who's got those specific policies to push this out for them. They've got access and they can do it themselves. When you look at the CloudM role templates, look, it makes it easy to get started on building permission groups. And when you're creating a new role, you can use these templates to add all the basic permissions that you might need for a certain role. And you can still assign and remove additional permissions as required. So look, it gives you the ability to have this ever evolving. We realize that people don't stay in the same roles within specific companies, right? People chop and change. But what this allows you to do, it allows you to change the role as they change departments. So you can give them different levels of access, completely dependent on which role they're taking within the company. As well as that, we've allowed your administrators to access multiple domains across your entire organization. And this is empowering IT and HR facilities to promote consistency without compromising on security. We've got the right levels of access within the right levels of roles, and everybody should be competent enough to complete the tasks at hand. And again, the main thing that we have done here is we're giving time back to IT professionals. I mean, what the ultimate goal here is to reduce the IT tickets, right? If we're reducing IT tickets, we are ultimately then giving back precious time to IT. And I'd just like to wrap this up by thanking Ryan. Thank you very much for showcasing this. But again, thanks, guys, Sam. Anybody has any questions at all, even if you'd like to deep dive into some of the stuff that we've discussed, if you'd like to set up a separate session, please do get in touch. You can see my my email there on screen, sam.winter@cloudm.io. Please do get in touch with any questions, or if you'd like to follow up on any of the stuff that we've just showcased. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.